What's up, everybody? We back. R2C2, another week, special edition.
Yeah, it kind of, instead of we back, it kind of feels like we here.
We're here, right?
We're here, right? Like it kind of feels that way. We are live at the T-Mobile store in Santa Monica on the Promenade. First of all, the hospitality is just fantastic.
It has been fantastic. I mean, the LA sun, you know what I'm saying? Being out here in Cali. It always feels like the sun is brighter out here in Cali. Maybe it's just because I'm from here.
You grew up here. You should know
so it just always feels better to be in California.
I like it. We got this beautiful R2C2 T-Mobile backdrop here, man. Whose house is this going afterwards?
Oh, it's definitely going to my crib.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. I like it.
You got the coffee mugs because I still don't have a coffee mug.
That's true, man. You know what I was thinking? I need to up production of the coffee mugs again. It's been a little while since I've gotten the coffee mugs going. I need to do it, man. How was the softball game the other day?
The softball game was good, man. Finally got a couple of hits. I popped up twice last year, so I got a couple of hits this year. We got the win, but it was just a lot of energy. Bad Bunny played in the softball game this year. Big Papi came out, Vladdy. So it was this year was lit. Like it was a real game.
Yeah.
It was dope.
And you guys won.
And we won.
What'd you end up finishing in the game at the plate?
2 for 2.
Oh man,
2
all right,
for 2.
good.
Like you know what I'm saying? I'm good.
There we go.
I might retire after that.
Have you played at all yet this season for our city team?
Did you play?
I'm 3 years since my last game now. I don't know if I still have a roster spot on our team, but
I got my jersey, but I haven't played. I didn't play this summer.
I still get the emails.
The season's got to be over though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
July. It's definitely over.
Yeah. It's in like June.
We'll have to add Mike Lunetta, our manager. Please let us know whether or not the season is still going on for our softball season because it appears to be over. You know, one of the things that it's cool that I can tell just following your Instagram stories is it's been a full All-Star experience, right? Like LA has done that times 10.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Somebody asked me before we came out here, is this like work or vacation? And I was like, it's both. It's kind of both. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that I have to be at. And then there's, you know, it's kind of hanging out. So we're doing we had a Players Alliance party. We did a panel yesterday. We had a clinic in the morning. You know, we did the softball game. Amber had the draft. So it's been a full week for us. But it's been good, man. You know what I wish? I wish the All-Star break was longer.
Yeah.
For the players.
Yes.
I wish that the players would have got out here on Friday because getting to enjoy all the festivities, the All-Star house and all these different things that MLB puts on, the players never get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You show up Sunday night, midnight, you got to be up at 10 a.m. for media, and then it's the home run derby. Like, it's too quick. So I wish they would extend the break, make it Friday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then let the players get out here and enjoy the All-Star game.
You know what they need? They need a LeBron to just say, like, hey, we need
a longer break.
Yeah, because this is what happened with the NBA
so
All-Star game.
Who would that be
who would be the LeBron
MLB?
in this? I feel like you would have been able to, like, voice that at an All-Star game.
Nobody was going to listen to me while I was playing.
No? Okay.
And I wasn't showing up to All-Star games. Remember the last 2 All-Star games I didn't even go to.
Right.
So
that's what Mo used to do too. Like Mo at the end of his career, he's like, nah, I'm going on
so
vacation.
in 2013, they changed the rule. Like it used to be if you got named to the team, you didn't have to show up to be named an All-Star.
Yeah.
2013, it was me, Mo, A-Rod, Derek, and somebody else. We didn't go to the All-Star game in Arizona. And they changed the rule that you have to show up to get the recognition of the All-Star.
Because there's a bonus involved in that too, right?
Well, not when you play for the Yankees because they expect you to make the All-Star team.
That's good.
They don't give no extra bonuses. They pay you up front.
You know what's funny is like I really do think that there would be value in having a little more time in the back end. I think the juggle has always been for baseball players, right? Because maybe you wouldn't be able to do it on the front end, but maybe you could do it on the front end of All-Star. But what I think about is a guy like Judge, right? And it's funny, Booney was even talking about this the other day, how it was something he had to be conscious of in the games leading up to the All-Star game, the demands he has in a couple days out here, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Yankees are playing a doubleheader Thursday, you know, so.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not fair to the players that make the All-Star team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we get to enjoy all these festivities and all this stuff, but the players, like, they've been running.
Yes.
These guys have already been up this morning. I saw them all last night at the Fanatics party, and they already up on the red carpet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything is so fast. I just wish they had time to actually enjoy this week. And even when you do come, then you get a couple of days before the season start. Like, guys want to go to Cabo or do whatever to go to get their break.
Yeah.
Then we should accommodate that.
Well, so what's interesting about that is I think the counter to it has always been in baseball. If you don't want the week off, lose your rhythm, right? What do you think?
Yeah,
do you think it would mess
for the guys
up?
that don't go, then you can have workouts. You can have workouts in your hometown or your home city or wherever you're going. You know what I'm saying? For the guys that don't make the team that want to keep getting reps or whatever, but I think the guys that make the team need the break.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like if you're Judge, if you're Stanton, right? If you're any All-Star right now,
I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I never picked up a ball during the All-Star break anyway.
You didn't. Yeah,
you never see me pitch the first game back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you always seen after the All-Star break, I pitched that Sunday or Monday because I wasn't playing catch over the All-Star break.
Well, but so here's my question for you: would it mess? Like it's a little different for a pitcher, but do you think it would mess hitters up to have a week of nothing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I think if it's a league-wide thing,
then
the offense will start slow maybe for the first 10 days after the break, and then it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I'm interested if they go that route at some point, just because what it will take some prominent face of the game All-Stars saying like, look, we need a couple extra days. I
need a couple extra days to get some time to myself.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know that like that. I think you probably could fit it on the back end a couple extra days,
Absolutely.
But
you could play that. We could have played the game Sunday.
Well, you could do that.
You could have the guys come in, start the last game is Thursday, had the guys come in Friday, had a derby Saturday, play the game on Sunday.
But you know what? TV-wise, well, if you did Sunday night, actually, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah.
They still have the
ratings-wise, that's okay. Yeah.
Huge.
That's all right. I wonder if Saturday and Monday would be a big difference, home run derby ratings-wise. Which, by the way, I was just thinking, watching Mejia throw to Soto, and it eventually worked out, but he was like all over the place in that final round with the pitches. There is so much pressure on the pitcher in the home run derby, man.
It's all the pitcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to throw strikes, I'd be so nervous, man.
Yeah, there's no way I could ever do that. With no cage, no nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Have you thrown BP at all since...
I just throw BP to Little C. I throw BP to Little C all the time, but it's not good.
What does your arm feel like at this point? We have a live audience who saw you basically lose your shoulder on the mound your final outing. Like, I don't know if they've even asked you what it feels like to throw now.
You know what? It doesn't, I don't throw a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just nothing for me to do. Like, I play catch with Carter. I'll throw some BP to Lil C, but it's fine. Like, if I start throwing a little too much I lose feeling in my hand. But, I don't need it.
Wait, I like this. Like, if I start throwing a little too much, I lose feeling in my hand. But really, it's okay. Like, there's nothing to worry about at all. I just lose feeling in my hand. It's totally fine. I was like watching it last night, and I was thinking about how cool it is, the kind of the stories behind the pitchers, because that used to not be a thing, right? It'd just be like whoever throws, and then like even remember Judge winning in 2017, and I forget was it his high school guy who threw to him?
High school guy that threw to him,
and then jumping in his arms after he won.
Bryce Harper, his dad, threw to him. Matt Chapman's dad threw to him. So that's.
All right, if you were in the home run derby, which I know would be a dream of yours as a hitter, not a pitcher, who would throw to you?
It would be Tony Pena.
Really?
Tony Pena is belt high, like firm, the perfect BP every time.
Wow.
You know who would not throw me? Larry Rothschild was the worst BP thrower. And we would have pitchers BP and Larry would always want to throw. And if I hit like 2 or 3 homers in a row, he would start throwing curveballs and shit. I'm like, Larry, this is BP, cuz. Like, bro, like, just lay it in there. Let me hit homers. Like, we never get the hit. Now you want to get me out?
But
like,
Larry didn't like you taking him yard.
No, he hated that shit.
BP.
He hated it.
Oh my gosh, man. That is hilarious. But what's also funny is just the idea of Larry Rothschild throwing BP. Yeah.
No, he loved it. He always threw pitchers BP.
Even like more recent years?
Like every year that I hit interleague, Larry would throw us BP.
That's interesting, man.
Until I was like, I'm just going to get in the first group with Tony because Larry's trying to get me out all day.
Yeah, I can't. You know what's funny too? I used to throw BP all the time on my high school team because I was really good at it. So even though I was at the time one of our better players, like when the coach's arm would go, he would have me throw BP because I didn't pitch, so it was like they weren't worried about my arm, and it never bothered me. I went back to my high school a couple years ago, and like my coach was like, "Hey, like be fun to have you throw BP. You're always the best BP pitcher, whatever." Dude, I threw like 25 pitches. My arm was killing me. It's one of those like even I was playing. My nephew's getting into baseball, which is super fun for me right now. He's 5. Shout out to Campbell. And he like loves watching the Yankees now. It's really cool to see. But he was like asking me to play like one-on-one. We were playing kickball actually in the driveway. I went and threw, and I just hadn't thrown. And I threw once, and you know how like if you don't warm up, all of a sudden you go to throw after not throwing in a while. That motion will just like wreck you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
man. That was me in the softball game the other day. I just tried to launch one. I was like, oh yeah, nah, that ain't. Let me just play first base.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it, man. You were only playing first on our softball team too, right?
Yeah, I only play first.
Yeah, I know. Well, you got the knees too. You know,
they tried to put me at second base in the second inning of the celebrity softball game, and we gave up 5 runs because balls were going up the middle, and I felt bad too.
You couldn't cover ground.
I could not. I had no range, bro. It was no range, so they had to put me back at first.
I'm not surprised.
I felt bad. Action gave up like 5 runs.
Oh my god! And
it was all my fault.
Oh, that is hilarious. Well, we won't call them earned runs for Action Bronson then. The All-Star game, there's a lot of we figure we do for this R2C2 kind of like a mid-season awards predictions for the second half type pod, getting ready for the second half of the season, also some trade deadline stuff as well. But before we do that, I do just want to say you've made fun of me for a lot of years about the vocal maintenance I go through, getting laryngeal massages, my warm-up. Who needs it now?
Man, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've been struggling since that softball game. And it's like, I'm old, bro. Every party is like, the music's too loud.
It's too loud.
I'm like, what's
too loud,
is
man.
going on?
It's so funny.
Turn the fucking music down.
I literally, I couldn't agree more.
Last night I was like, I gotta go home. Like, I can't do this. Like, I mean, Judge and Nestor and Big G, like, they, this is like their thing. Like, Travis Scott, J Balvin, it's going off. And I'm like, sitting in the back, I felt like an old man. I'm like, the music is way too loud in here, and I'm screaming. I can't talk to nobody. Like, what's the point of this? What was the point of going to clubs when we were young, bro?
I don't know, man. I don't think you were doing a lot of talking. It's what's funny is I literally think this every time. I was at WNBA All-Star last weekend, and I was at Sue's production company together, had a party, and it was great. But I was like sitting there, I was like, talking with a few people, and I was just like smiling. I was like, I can't speak over this. No. I can't do. I don't know what you're saying.
And every time I'm like, I don't want to miss this party, like blah blah blah. But then when I get there, I'm like, fuck, man, I could be in my bed right now,
dude. I know, man. Like, I'm all about day events. You want to have me do a T-Mobile podcast for R2C2 every afternoon? Let's do it. I'm down. Yeah, like I'm good with that. But once we get past like 9:45, I start to get antsy.
Man, bro.
Like, when can I get home?
I'm gonna do it tonight.
Is that a dad thing? You think that's what it is?
Oh, it's definitely just a dad thing. Getting older. He's getting older too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Yeah.
We had a Players Alliance party on Sunday, and the vibe was good. We had it at the Grammy Museum. The music was kind of low. It was outdoors.
Yeah.
So you could have
classy.
it was and I'm like, that's like my type of vibe.
Yes.
I'm old now, man.
Yeah.
Like, so. The club scene, the Fanatics party was great.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of people there. It was awesome, but
you got a timer on you with that music.
Yeah, not really my
scene.
scene.
Got a time on you. So here's a few tricks, and for anyone in the audience, you can apply these as well if you're at a loud party, or anyone on our YouTube audience as well. So lozengers, take them with you just to keep the throat lubricated during the night when you're talking. All right. Then, like. You got to be a little bit of a close talker.
No, I'm not a close talker.
You got to be a little bit of a close talker.
And I don't like people being close talkers to me.
I know you don't, but in this setting, it's a survival tactic.
Bro. I hate that shit.
You have no choice.
The only person that can close talk to me in the club is Amber.
Yeah.
That's it. So if she ain't there, then I'm leaving. Like.
So if I come up to you and I start close talking, it's it. Time to go home. Time to go home. All right. The other big theme of All-Star Weekend, besides CeCe's vocal cords, is Juan Soto, man, and the fact that he turned down the 15-year, $440 million extension, which
it's not a lot a year though.
It's not a lot a year. It's a lot of. It is hard though and I guess they were deferring a ton of it.
Yeah,
it's just like we're in the.
It's hard. What?
World of
Are you
this,
about to say it's hard to turn that down?
Is it hard to turn down 440 guaranteed
million?
Not
when you're 23 years old.
Yeah.
Not when you're 23 years old.
Do most of these guys take out insurance policies?
Yeah,
too?
absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure, he took out an insurance policy, but. When you're 23 years old and you got that type of talent, you've already won a World Series, you're going to the All-Star game every year. I mean, it's it's in your hands. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, I know he probably didn't want to be in DC for 15 years.
Yeah.
They get to offer him the contract. He rejects it. Now he sets his market.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it worked on both ends for the Nationals because they get to offer him a contract. He gets to reject it. He's 23 years old, and now he gets to set his market when he becomes a free agent.
Right. Like there's not going to be awful PR for the Nationals if they trade him because they offered him
$43 million.
Right.
What can you do?
If you offer a representative deal and the player says no, it's hard to bash the team.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
What can you do? And for him, so it's kind of good on both ends.
Yeah.
And now he set his market. Now you got to pay him $500 million.
Well, which is amazing, and probably for 10 years.
I love it.
Not 15.
I love
What's
it.
interesting is I heard Alex A-Rod talking about this last night, and I think he's right. Like you could see like a 10-year deal with a 7-year opt-out, and then he'd be free again at 30.
At 30.
If he wanted to,
Yeah.
I mean, and they could get another 10-year deal potentially.
That's what I'm saying. So for him, a 15-year deal is just not. He's so young.
Yeah. That's the thing too.
So
Even if
young,
let's say
bro.
he would have to have, and knock on wood, this would never happen, but he would have to have some kind of bizarre, catastrophic injury to still not get the money, right? Because even if he tore his Achilles or he tore his ACL, he's 23
years old.
He could take a year and a half to rehab, and somebody's still going to pay him.
Yep.
So then the question becomes, does he get traded? I was talking to someone the other day who was telling me that they think he is going to get traded before the deadline here.
This year?
Yes. And I was like, wow, okay. So
what's the market for that? Like who's?
I mean, honestly, I think the teams you got to look at are the Dodgers, right? Who have a great farm system, will do anything it takes to win. The Yankees, who have this historic season going on, who obviously would love to get a 23-year-old superstar like that. It's great it's great for the team. And the Yankees have a very good farm system again. The Mets, because they're willing to pay. You have to look at teams who will be willing to pay the money eventually,
I don't
too.
know if the Mets have enough to trade for him, and I don't know that the
Yeah.
Nationals would trade him in their division.
Right. So I think
You know
they're
what I'm saying?
tougher.
Yeah.
Then some people are saying the Astros. If
I can see the Astros trading for him.
Astros also have some talent on the farm. In addition to that, could they trade some young major league talent that could entice them?
If the Yankees had enough,
Yeah.
I can see maybe them trying to trade because you don't know what's going to happen with Judge at the end of the season.
Right. It's a little insurance policy. Hopefully
Yeah.
they're both there for years to come.
And that would be great. But
Yeah.
if you don't know what's going to happen,
Right. It's a
then
little
that
insurance policy.
It's almost like the Braves signing or trading for Matt Olson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After losing Freddie Freeman, you get a guy like that to kind of step in.
It's a rare player to go after. I know people don't like to trade the farm, but you're basically
You can trade
trading
the farm for the guy
23-year-old dude who's already
trade
one of the
farm
best
for a guy
players in
like
baseball,
that.
because you're not trading for a 30-year-old and getting 5 years. You're literally trading for the guy who you would hope develops out of your farm and just never happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a generational superstar who already is proven in every way you can be proven. October, every other way.
Yeah.
And yet he's still only 23 years old. You wouldn't even, if you didn't want to, you wouldn't even have to extend him. You have him under contract through 2024.
And the thing is that he's younger than most of the fucking prospects you're going to trade for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
the guys that he's going to be trading for are probably the same age or probably older.
Hey, the Yankees' top pitching prospect, Ken Waldichuk, who's I think he looks great, right? He's older than him. He's older than Soto.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what's crazy. So look, just to use Yankee prospects as an example, it would probably cost you, Volpe, Dominguez, Waldichuk, Medina, whatever. It's going to cost you all them. Soto's the one guy who you still might say, I'll go do it, because can you imagine that lineup with Stanton, Soto, and Judge?
Man, and then the outfield. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense in the outfield, I think
right,
because
Soto's
he's a
really good outfielder.
He's a good defender.
Yeah, right. I know, man. I think any other team you think of for Soto? Like those Dodgers and Yankees, because they have the farm system, they have the willingness, and they could have.
Those are the only two. I mean, I think the Mets, but I just don't think it would be dumb for the Nationals to trade in their division. A guy
trying
like
to think
that.
if there's anyone else. Some people have talked about the Padres, maybe, because they also have young talent that could potentially be dealt in a deal. But
I can see maybe the Braves.
Maybe the Braves have an amazing farm system.
Yeah.
Amazing farm system. It's interesting. That's going to make these next 2 weeks so interesting, because it's also, for me, it's interesting what happens with Luis Castillo.
Yes.
Because I'm watching Luis Castillo, the Reds ace, deal against the Yankees last week, and I'm like, get that guy. If it costs you one of those top few guys or two of your top six prospects.
Are you giving up one of those top couple guys for the Yankees to get Castillo?
I am, because this is the way
he's a free agent after this, right?
One more year. So
Okay.
Castillo has 23 under contract as well. First of all, I liked his demeanor too, man, on the mound. Like he's kind of like the way you like celebrate big strikeouts, just kind of like with the calm little celebration. I don't know. I liked it.
The only person I wouldn't give up for somebody like Luis Castillo is like Volpe.
Volpe. I agree. I'm not giving up Volpe, but would you give up Peraza if you had to? Push comes to shove. I know you don't want to.
Yeah,
if you had to,
I think the only person that's untouchable for me is Volpe.
Volpe's makeup too, I think, is what's really exciting.
Absolutely. And he's a Jersey kid.
Yeah,
He's from the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to put the Derek Jeter stamp on him, but like
he has that vibe.
He's from there.
Yeah.
You know,
as we watched the Captain doc that came.
He wanted to be a Yankee. He grew up wanting to be a Yankee. So,
yes.
Have you watched the Captain?
I watched the first episode on the plane last night.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it, man.
Yankee?
I mean, for me, Derek Jeter's my guy. This is Yankee porn for me, watching the Captain. This is like you couldn't ask for a better documentary for me. I think that like what I'm interested to see is like for some people who are going to be like, oh well, Derek's only ever going to be but so revealing. It's like, well, yeah, but because he was so guarded, anything is more than what we've seen, right? Like, so even if he's like a little more revealing, to me that's super interesting because that's not what he used to do.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, I know him, so I'm just interested to see.
Yeah,
miss your lip. Right? You got a hole in your lip.
And Yeti cooked this up with his
I know.
Thank you to Yeti. And I'm spilling it all over me. My house is filled with Yetis.
Mine too. That's all I got. But for me, I want to see how revealing he's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've seen what, the first 2 episodes?
I've seen the first 3, I think.
Okay. All right. Have you seen the Derek and Alex stuff yet?
I haven't. So that's what I'm waiting for too. Yeah, I haven't.
Because those are your teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm in that part of the doc.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
we'll
see.
So you were asked about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And that's why I was like, I think the doc's gonna be good because they're asking the right questions.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a little reveal as to what you said?
That shit was 3 months ago. How the fuck am I gonna remember what I said or what they asked me?
What a little preview.
I can't even remember what they asked
about.
All
right. Fair enough.
About those two, but I know that
yeah.
I know Alex is in the doc.
Yeah.
Obviously we know they had the tension, the problem, whatever. So I'll be interested to see how much they talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Both of them.
But to get back to your point about Volpe, I don't think you deal Volpe for Castillo, but probably anyone else you have to think about. Maybe you wouldn't go Dominguez. But did you see the bomb he hit in the Futures game? Oh my goodness! Yeah. Like to left center, that was a bomb. But what I like about Castillo, he had 4 pitches that look nasty to me.
No, he's a bona fide ace, man. He's just pitching in Cincinnati.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But
and
you put him in a playoff race, then he's going to be a guy that everybody talks about.
The way I look at it too is if you look at, I think there's probably 3 teams above the rest, but there's a couple more coming, right? Like so, because maybe now you're going to put the Braves in there eventually because they're defending champs and they've been so good over the last month and a half, but. Dodgers, Yankees, Astros, right? Those 3 teams
Mets
have been, and the Mets right behind them, right?
No, right behind them.
Mets with them.
Mets are with them.
So then I think you put the Braves there too.
You got to put the Braves right.
Okay.
You put the Braves right behind them.
Okay. So any of those teams, I think, have to look at this season as they've put themselves in position to win it all. Don't waste the opportunity. Same way the Astros got Verlander in 2017.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the Mets are in a better position because they're about to get their Verlander back.
I know.
In a couple of weeks, which is Jacob deGrom.
Yes.
And they're going to pair him with Max.
Yes.
2 best pitchers on the planet.
Yes.
And Max is fresh.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was telling you before the season. Max don't need to carry you through the summer.
Yes.
It's almost perfect that he pulled his oblique. He needs to pull his oblique every year and miss, 2 months in the summer because he don't need to pitch.
What about the oblique's a little tough? Can we just have him
whatever.
A dog bites his shin or something like that?
Just give him, 2 months off in the middle of the season. Let him get ready for October. I think him being fresh in October is going to be huge for them, for the Mets fans and the people in Queens and getting DeGrom back.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, with that lineup, and those 2 in the series, bro, like they're gonna be really, 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 really hard to beat. And I know the Dodgers are good, but it's gonna be hard for me to pick against those 2 if they're healthy.
That's why
Taijuan Walker in there. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I think you if you're one of these teams, you got to go get Castillo.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the Yankees, you're trying to match up with them eventually, or, you know, trying to make sure you have the advantage against the Astros, right?
Absolutely.
If you're the Astros and you're trying to make sure you have the advantage against the Yankees, or eventually down the line, the Dodgers, you know, or the Mets. Like, I mean, that's why I think Castillo becomes a huge piece here, because all of these teams know that they're good enough to win as is, but they may not be if the other team gets that piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
if you're the Yankees right now, you feel like, yeah, I can beat anybody. But do you feel like you can beat the Astros if they get Castillo or Soto? Or you feel like you beat the Dodgers? You know what I mean? You're going to need something.
That was that piece like in 2010 when we didn't trade for Cliff Lee.
Yes.
Remember that? Like,
yes. Oh, that was a whole dramatic scene.
Exactly. But
yes.
if we trade for Cliff, we win back to back.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yes.
So It's just like one of those things where that piece is out there, and whoever gets them is going to be the team that it puts them over the edge.
And I also think there's a thing about like when the vibe is right. You know, like this team, like in 2009, I remember talking to different people in the clubhouse who had been there forever, and they'd be like, this team has a vibe to it, right? When you guys won, you could tell.
I told you, I knew we were going to win right away when A-Rod came back and hit the homer. The first pitch, the first pitch I seen, he hit a 3-run homer. I was like, oh yeah, it's over.
And this Yankee team has that vibe in the room. They have that kind of whatever it is, they have it. It's like you got to do everything you can to take advantage of that. That may mean trading some prospects you don't want to trade, but you don't want to say, we were this close, we had everything in place, and we didn't do it, you know? Speaking of, we thought we'd hand out some midseason awards, and some predictions. First of all, our World Series prediction. You remember what our World Series prediction was before the year,
was
me and you?
Dodgers?
It was Yankees-Dodgers.
Yeah.
We both picked Yankees-Dodgers. And at the time, obviously, C and I are Yankees ties. We got panned.
But the Yankees-Dodgers kind of like lazy. You can pick the Yankees-Dodgers the last fucking 10 years.
You could, but doesn't mean it's a bad pick. You could do it, but doesn't mean it's a bad pick. But I remember people were thinking the Yankees had a bad offseason. So we were kind of like panned for that. But in reality, it looks pretty good. Are you sticking with it?
Yeah, obviously I'm never gonna pick against the Yankees.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
What I'm saying? But I would like I want to change my Dodgers pick. I think it's gonna be the Mets.
So you think we're gonna get a Subway Series?
I think it's gonna be Subway Series.
All right.
I think
Wow.
It's gonna be the Mets.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stick with the Yankees-Dodgers. Wouldn't be surprised if it was the Mets. Wouldn't be surprised if it was the Braves.
I think it's gonna be the Mets.
But I'm gonna stick with the Yankees-Dodgers. If you imagine if we get a Braves. We get a Dodgers, Mets, NLCS, and a Yankees, Astros, ALCS.
Man.
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Ratings for baseball, they would.
Networks will be salivating.
Be huge.
They'll be like me watching the Jeter doc. It'll be just fantastic. So, all right, C. How about your first half American League MVP, your first half NL MVP?
Shohei Ohtani.
Over Judge?
Bro, Shohei's got like a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, but their team is
I don't give a damn about their
man.
team.
Come on, man.
Bro, if he continues to like progress as a pitcher and like get closer to being a Cy Young winner and like he's gonna win and he's the MVP every year.
So I can't do it.
He's the best player, bro.
Yeah, but you pull them off the Angels, they're right where they are.
He's the best player.
I'll give you this though. If you look at FanGraphs WAR, Judge is actually higher than him right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So,
but for me, I'm never
going
to pick it. If Ohtani continues to progress as a pitcher, I'm never going to pick against him. Because he's going to hit 30 and have a sub. If a 30 and a sub-3, bro, like, come on, guys.
Well, Judge is 33 already.
But I'm saying, can he pitch?
You know what? He probably could. He probably could. But if
Judge could go out there and throw 7 scoreless innings, then I would give him the MVP.
If I get Judge if he hits 60 home runs, the Yankees win 110 games, and he has the highest WAR, he better win the MVP. I don't care what Ohtani does on a team that finishes 15 games under 500.
I'm gonna tell you this: I would love to see Judge break Maris's record.
Oh, me too, man.
Because it would be real.
Yes,
you know
yes. No more. It'd be like nobody would have any kind of doubts.
It would be real, and it would be like a Yankee doing it. You know, that would be fire.
Yeah.
It would be fun in September to go to games and him chasing 61 homers. That'd be sick.
Those last couple games made it feel a little more possible again because he had gone a little bit without a homer, but then he hits 3 over the last 2 games. You start saying, okay, all right, so I got Judge, you got Shohei. How about NL MVP?
Man, I haven't really watched a lot of National League. I wouldn't even.
Want me to give you one?
Give me one.
I think Goldschmidt. Because can I tell you, Joel Sherman had this stat. This is the craziest stat I've heard. Paul Goldschmidt, in 2 strike counts, has an 870 OPS. In 2 strike counts. Then now,
the Cardinals been playing good, right?
Yeah. So Now, if you just have an 870 OPS overall, that's good. The average major league hitter in 2 strike counts has like a sub 600
I was
OPS.
about to say, it has to be. I was about to say 500.
Yeah. It might be. It's something like that. And they're playing well. His numbers are great. That's what I'd go with.
I'll give you that pick.
How about AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young?
I think AL Cy Young for me right now, Justin Verlander.
Interesting.
Justin Verlander.
He's had a great year.
I was
going to go McClanahan in Tampa.
I met Shane today.
Yeah,
his first time.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Nice dude.
And he's a big guy, man.
Really?
Bigger than I thought. He looks small.
He looks small on the mound.
Yeah, no, he's probably like 6'3", 6'4".
You know who's a dude who I always get that with? Steph Curry. People always like, Steph's so small, whatever. And there is something about like how he appeals to people. And then you see Steph and like Steph's 6'3" and chiseled, and you're like, no, he's like a big dude. For a regular human, he's a big dude.
That was Shane. That was Shane today. Yeah, I like Shane, but I think just JV coming off of the Tommy John and not pitching in the year, I would love to see him win the Cy Young.
All right, I'll go Shane, and Verlander has been great. NL, I think it's got to be Alcantara, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think it's even close. I got a chance to meet him last night. How
was he?
He was good.
Is it cool for you getting to meet some of these young dudes?
It is, man. It's cool for me to be able to still have the MLB job, to stay in the game. I mean, obviously having the Yankee job, it keeps me around the Yankees. And I kind of feel like I raised these guys, like all these different guys. But to be able to still mingle with, the Jazz Chisholms, the Sandys, and, Jake Cronenworth, all these different guys, that's because of the MLB job. So, yeah, it keeps me in the game and it keeps me around these guys.
Yeah. It's you've been working a lot for this job too, man.
It's been a lot.
It's a real job, huh? Sometimes, C might take a job, doesn't know if it's a real job. This is a real job.
Yeah. We'll see how long this shit lasts.
Kicking on a plane every week, going somewhere.
We'll see how long this shit lasts.
Hey, make it count while you're there, man. Make it count. How about Rookie of the Year, AL? It's got to be Julio Rodriguez, right? The American League.
I love and I think he put people on notice last night.
Yeah.
In the Derby.
Thought he was going to win after his first round.
He's an absolute
after his
beast,
final
bro.
round.
And his personality's great. I think he's going to be the next face of baseball.
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez. Wow. So. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because, I think he's kind of sprung on a little later in this season. Sometimes that happens with a West Coast team, You know
what happened is that the first month and a half of the season, he got more balls called on him outside the zone than any other player in the big leagues.
Really?
So they say he got off to a slow start, but he was getting fucked by the umpires.
Welcome to Judge's life.
Exactly. So the first month and a half of the season, he was getting balls called this far off, this far up. So everybody's like, he getting off to a bad start. And no, because his zone is different. Once they start locking in on the zone, then you've seen them start to take off.
So an NL Rookie of the Year. I think you have a couple Braves, but I would go with Spencer Strider just because that rotation's kind of taken off since he got in there. Yeah. So I think that's the way to go. For the biggest surprise, it's got to be the Orioles, right? I mean, we thought this team was going to lose 100 games. They were 500, man.
Yeah, I mean, and playing in that division, playing tough. I think in any of the division, they're at the top of the close to the top of the division. So yeah, I mean. That team is young, they're hungry, and I think they're going to be good here in the next couple of years. And them just getting drafted. They drafted Jackson Holiday.
I know. They have the first pick in the draft too. They have the number one farm system in baseball.
Yeah, so they're going to be a team to deal with here in the next couple of years.
I feel happy for their fans because these have been some miserable seasons. There's also a part of me that's like, I don't want them to be rewarded yet for spending no money and winning games. You know what I mean? Like. Because we've talked about many times, I wish there was a floor for those teams because they get subsidized by teams willing to spend money.
But you have to give them credit though in the AL East being able to build up their farm system and have these players come up through their system and be good players.
Yeah,
whether it's Matt Castle or Cedric Mullins,
Hayes,
or Austin Hayes, these guys are turning into real players in a tough division to do that in, man. Like you playing Tampa, you playing Toronto, you playing Boston, and New York all the time. So. For those guys to come up and play in this division, I mean, it just hardens you and makes you a better player.
I'm really looking forward to the series. I'm going to call Yankees Orioles this coming weekend in Baltimore. Normally that's like a that's a 16-2 game followed by an 8-1. I think that atmosphere is going to be good for those games with the way they're playing, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. And when the Orioles are good, the fans show up.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes it a fun series when we're both good.
That ballpark is held up so well too. For all the like new ballparks that were built, whatever ballpark's built in 95, 94.
Same with Progressive.
Yeah.
They were both built in 94.
Camden is beautiful, man.
Camden is nice, yeah.
It's still
I gotta
beautiful.
see the new field the new fence out there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That I don't like. I mean, it's working for them.
I like
but
it. It's good
I don't
for
love
them.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, when they first did it, I was like, well, they just gonna lose games 10-8 now instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I think it's been good for them.
Well, see, we're live at the T-Mobile store at the Santa Monica Promenade. For all of you watching on YouTube, we're no longer live, but you understand. And All-Star Week, MLB All-Star Week, T-Mobile has a bunch of awesome stuff here. Some cool All-Star bat engravings as well that they have. But we also have an audience. So what do you think? Should we take some questions from the audience? I think we should, right? Ata can get the mic passed around and we can take any questions you guys have, do a little Q&A. We like to do our social media Q&A. But this, we get a chance for some live questions. So tell us who you are and go ahead and ask questions.
How you doing, guys? My name is James. And just a quick question. You talked about Soto and Castillo. What other moves do you think the Yankees should make by the trade deadline, if any? Outside of those two phenomenal players.
Yeah, it's a good question. I do look at it, and I think the Yankees have the farm system where they could be players for either. And I think the problem is if both of them get dealt and they get dealt elsewhere, it's hard to stack up, right? If Castillo goes to the Astros and Soto goes to the Dodgers, it's hard to feel like you're definitely beating them, right? And I think that's kind of the advantage the Reds and the Nationals are going to have pitting those teams against each other and creating a market. I think the Yankees need one more arm in the bullpen, right? Yeah, you think so too, C?
I think they need one more arm in the bullpen. I think to be complete, and it may be Zach Britton.
It might be that. Might be internal.
Zach's coming back maybe sometime in August, so it may be him.
Start getting your arm in shape.
I ain't got it.
Hey, you know what the sneakiest, most underrated part of like CeCe's arm injury was? Like he was feeling so good coming out of the pen that he was thinking about not retiring and pitching out of the pen.
Yeah.
That's how good he was feeling. Yeah. And the results were there too.
Oh, I definitely could have been that guy for him.
But I think I don't know who the arm would be, but I think an arm in the pen. And
maybe like a Michael Fulmer.
Maybe that.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's also you see what the Yankees did with Holmes. And you wonder, is there some undervalued dude who has underlying analytics?
You don't want to take that chance right now at the trade deadline in a season where you think you got a chance to win a championship.
Right, you got to get a guy who could do it. Yeah,
that's proven.
Who you know he could do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. All right, who else has a question for us over there? Any questions? Go ahead. Tell us who you are.
Hey, Ryan and CC. My name's Jesse. I'm actually a play-by-play announcer as well.
Nice.
For LMU up here for the past 10 years.
Awesome, dude. Awesome.
Any advice for a young broadcaster coming up like yourself?
Yeah, man. I think number one key always is to get reps. There's nothing that gets you better than being on the air because it's just not the kind of career you can study a certain amount for and learn. You just have to be on the air. I think having fun, letting people feel the enjoyment. I mean, I feel like in baseball right now, especially, I think one of the things I've noticed from fans who've enjoyed my play-by-play is they can tell I love the game, and they appreciate that at this moment in time where they feel like maybe the sport doesn't have enough of that, right? Like, you want enthusiasm, not people who seem bored by the game.
And that's always my gripe is if I'm watching the White Sox game, I love that their announcers are homers. You know what I mean? I'm watching it because I'm a White Sox fan, so I want you to root with me. So, I think
that's what we differ a little bit, but he loves the enthusiasm
about him because that comes out through him. He tries to be neutral, but when we hit a home run, it's really exciting.
That's true.
When they hit a home run, it's kind of you know what I'm saying? So I like that about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And it is true. That's one of the interesting things about doing games national versus local, right? When I'm on ESPN, I'm going to get just as excited for either team. But on you bet I'm going to be way more pumped for a Yankee home run than I am an Oriole home run.
And we're watching because we're fucking Yankee fans. So
right.
That's what we want to hear our announcer get excited.
So I think considering the audience is always a big thing too, And then I think just that having people being able to feel that you're having fun, and being authentically yourself, whatever that is. If that means you're corny, lean into being corny. Like
Absolutely.
if it means you're dry, lean into being dry. Like whatever it is, like just owning. See, Vince Scully's. There's always like a foundational piece of advice that I always mention. But Red Barber told Vince Scully this when he was just starting out. He said, "There's only one thing you can bring in the booth with you that nobody else can. And that's yourself." And it's so true, right? If you try and be Vince Scully, like you're only ever going to be the second best. Right, like
it worked for Kobe though.
Yeah, that's true. You get 5 rings trying to be Michael. Yeah, I like that. But those would be some piece of advice. Keep going, man. Who else got a question over there? We got some prominent mustaches. We got some real prominent mustaches in the crowd. We got one right here.
My name is Narayan. I'm headed to USC.
Nice, congratulations, man.
Studying journalism. So I had a question about the whole Soto thing.
Yeah.
So we've seen in the past, especially with Hal and Brian, they become like a little more like conservative. They don't like to spend as much money. Like remember the winter of 2019 when it was Harper and Machado. We heard rumors about that. And then also Cashman's like hesitation to give up the prospects. Do you really think that Soto to the Yankees is actually like going to happen? Do you think there's a big possibility given the history?
Well, I think that they are strategic about where they put the big dollars now, right? So like even look at I'll use an example. People killed them for not getting Freddie Freeman this offseason, right? But right now that Anthony Rizzo 2-year deal looks like a pretty good bet, right? Not to mention Rizzo has been essential in that clubhouse.
Yes, big time.
Right? Like total leader, which I don't know if you would have gotten that from Freddie Freeman, to be honest. So there's sometimes that I think if it's a guy who's like an obvious investment, I think the Yankees will always do it like they did with Cole, But I think the one where it's just like, hey, this is the star who's the free agent. We're just going to willy-nilly throw the dollars at it. I think that's out. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
But I think they've been doing that for a long time. I think that started my offseason.
I agree.
Is where they had the year before they could have signed Johan.
Right.
And Cash was like, clearly he was like, no, I was waiting for your offseason.
Yes.
So they've been on that path for a bunch of years now where they're trying to strategically, get the right big guy instead of just signing everybody. You know what I mean? Which they would do in the past up until my offseason.
Right, because think about it. Otherwise, you get locked into these long-term deals, and then it inhibits your flexibility moving forward. And I think Soto's the guy who you have no problem signing that check for because of his age. And not to mention, if you didn't want to extend him, you don't have to. You could have him he's not a free agent until after 24. If you wanted to, you could have him this year, next year, then decide what to do with him. If you want to re-sign him or if you want to ship him off for another king's ransom. So, but I think he's the kind of guy where it's like, yeah, you don't mind giving Juan Soto 10 years and $500 million or whatever it would be because he's going to give you your bang for your buck.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely worth that money though. And yeah, I mean that 2008 offseason, like 2009 was the first year of me like watching Yankees baseball.
Yeah.
And they won the World Series, and after that, man, I just became like a huge like Yankees fan. But yeah, that 2008 offseason where they just spent everyone on CC, on AJ, on Teixeira. I mean, the Yankees haven't had an offseason like that in a while where they spend like that money.
Well, we have. It just ain't worked out like that.
Yeah. Right. But you know what's interesting about that? The way Cash talked about you is the way they kind of went after Cole.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I remember I was always amazed. Cash was like talking about C as if he was in his plans. Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to try and sign. He was like, CC Sabathia is a big part of what we're going to do with this team. I was like, whoa, you haven't even signed him yet. And that's kind of how they went after Cole. And so, again, if it's the right dude, I think they'll do, whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Soto could fall into that category. You've heard whispers about Soto and the Yankees for years. So, look, maybe if the Dodgers have the kind of farm system and young talent where they could get it done too, we'll see. Like, it might be a big enough star that there's not enough time to put together a complicated deal right now. Kind of seeing that a little bit with Durant, right? Like sometimes that kind of player, it's hard to like get a deal done like that when it just comes up. This is just coming up with Soto. But I don't know. If someone asked me, do I have to pick whether or not he gets dealt or not? I would say yes. I kind of think he does.
I think he gets dealt. I just don't know if it's going to be to us.
I think it might be.
I don't
yeah.
know. You know.
So interesting to see because even like he's the kind of player who could swing a pennant race completely.
Absolutely.
He's that good. He's not just he's worth more than just an adverb. You don't just go from good to very good, right? Like you're a team who could be great all of a sudden, who was looking like a 90-win team. What else we got? Question here.
Afternoon, CC. Larry Abel. 3,000 strikeouts, World Series champion, member of the Black Aces. Rank.
Oh, I like that. We got a Laker ring there too. What we? Oh, nice.
Black Aces for sure, number one. Because what it meant to Mudcat and what it meant to me for me to make that for him. World Series and then 3,000 strikeouts. Like for me, it was I never play for personal stuff. I would put the Black Aces thing first solely because of my relationship with Mudcat and kind of how he raised me and wanted me to be a part of that organization, the Black Aces. So then World Series second, and then I never even thought I would get to 1,000 strikeouts. So to have 3,000 and be one of I guess 3 lefties and three African Americans, it's crazy. It feels like it's a dream. It's all hard to think about, but it's been a lot of fun.
You know what's interesting too? You were never a guy who thought about your own personal stats or whatever.
Never.
And I remember
that's why, I always tell people, I just pitched to the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's why my ERA is so high in my career because I didn't care. Like, if we score 6 runs, I'm gonna give up 5.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Trying
the games
win.
when we score 1, I'm gonna try to go out and throw a shutout.
But what's interesting about it is the 3,000 strikeout thing. I remember Harold Reynolds was the one who put you onto it, right? Like, because you were
I was
you weren't
gonna
thinking
retire.
about that with retirement.
I was gonna retire after 2018, and Harold called me and said the only people that have 250 wins and 3,000 strikeouts that aren't in the Hall of Fame is Roger Clemens. It's only one. And he was like, you right there. I think I had 238 wins at the time, and I was right there to 3,000 strikeouts, and he was like, dude, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So I played those last 2 years to basically get that.
Which is amazing now looking at. Because you look at these lists, and it's like so few names, man.
No, I mean, I definitely am grateful for it and glad that other people were thinking about that for me because I definitely wasn't. I definitely wasn't.
What do you think? Take 1 or 2 more? We got a couple more questions back there. Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite All-Star game or moment in your career, CC?
Oh, wow. I think my favorite All-Star game would have been 2007. I got to pitch in San Francisco in front of my family and friends. But, man, we being completely honest, I never really liked to come to the All-Star game.
You like it more now?
Yeah, I like it more now. I'd much rather just go hang out somewhere. But I think having my kids out on the field in 2012 was a lot of fun. All of them, really just being able to have my son was at all of my All-Stars, my oldest. So to be able to have him at all of those All-Star games and have pictures, I think is the coolest moment.
That's cool. Maybe we'll take one more question. We got one more in here. Anybody else? We have one in the back there. Come on around. We'll give you the microphone.
All right.
Oh, we got another one here. Yeah.
So, CC, if you were in the T-Mobile Home Run Derby, how many of those magenta balls are you hitting out of the ballpark?
Man, the magenta balls seem like they're hard to hit, right? It takes guys a couple of seconds to get their eyesight right. But if I was in the home run derby, I would have definitely won. Especially when I was younger.
That's what I like to hear, man. It's got to be like you got to be tired by the end of it.
Nah, it looked like those guys were dead. And it was hot yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's hitting with no cage.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be a little different. But I mean, I think I would have won one for sure.
Man, I like there's something about that event too, being at it, where it's a real Hamilton at Yankee Stadium in 08.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life live. Like watching that performance, I wasn't there, but seeing what Judge did in Miami in 2017, you know what's
crazy is that Judge can run the home run derby every year.
Yeah, if he wanted to.
Every year.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll ever do it again.
What's the point?
He's one and done.
Yeah, I mean, he did it. He won. Like, what's the point?
It's like
of doing
Kobe in the dunk contest.
it? Yeah, but like, because he hits like those fly balls that he hits the right field, those balls go out.
Yeah.
Like those are pop-ups for everybody else.
Yeah.
So like when he hits a ball to right field,
Still
it's
gone.
still a homer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like he can win that shit every year if he wanted to.
It's crazy. Well, see, this is fun doing this, man.
This is good.
It's fun. Big shout out to all of you for being here with us. Give yourself a round of applause. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Want to say special thanks to T-Mobile for hosting us and hosting this episode from the Santa Monica Promenade T-Mobile store. First of all the T-Mobile employees, you notice they're like the kindest people
Yeah,
ever. They're
for
like,
sure.
they're absolutely wonderful. They are truly fantastic. Shout out to YETI as well, hooking us up throughout. We know C and his voice really needs this.
Yes.
Now he needs it for recovery. I need it for maintenance. So shout out to YETI for that. And our crew is going to be producing this episode exclusively on T-Mobile's 5G network. Their 5G network is fantastic. We greatly appreciate their super fast speed technology that's going to make it all happen. So big shout out for T-Mobile's 5G network making this happen. So all of you watching on YouTube, first of all, make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube page and be grateful for T-Mobile's 5G network for making it happen. See, this was fun, man. We'll do it again next week. We'll have to do it again with T-Mobile sometime live soon, man.
Definitely. It's better too to do it in person, right? We haven't been in
I
person
know.
ourselves in a long time.
That's the thing, man. Like
Yeah.
we've done like since the pandemic,
It's been
like
Zoom.
4 or 5 pods in person, if that. Yeah. We got in Zoom. It's way better this way.
This is good.
Yeah, and we got our nice little mic flags too. How about this?
Yeah, right?
Shout out to Ata for our R2C2 mic flags. Man. A lot of trouble with these. Anyway, peace, everybody.
Peace.